Welcome to Real Chat with Kat, the podcast that's all about real conversations for real transformation. I'm your host, Kat Polsinelli, professional speaker, MC, and best-selling international author. Here, we tackle the tough stuff, the mud that we all have found ourselves in. We talk about the pivots, the challenges, and the victories that shape our lives and our businesses. From overcoming trauma and finding your voice to navigating life's unexpected twists, we get raw, honest, and open. You'll hear from inspiring guests who share their stories of resilience, healing, and growth. Whether it's breaking through emotional abuse, embracing self-worth, or thriving in entrepreneurship, you'll find connection, empowerment, and the tools to keep you moving forward. So grab your favorite drink, settle in, and get ready for stories that hit home and conversations that make a difference. Let's get real together. Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining me today on this episode of Real Chat with Kat. I'm so excited to have you here with me today. Thank you so much for continually supporting the podcast and being a part of all the goodness that we have going on here. Speaking of goodness, I am super excited to bring my guest here today, Jillian. She is doing some amazing things behind the scenes with her company, with women. I'm going to let her kind of dive into this, but I am so excited for this. So, Jillian, thank you so much for joining the podcast today.
Yay, thank you. I'm excited.
Yay! We're going to have so much fun. I told you this when we talked on the phone too. Like, I just adore what you are doing. I think it is so well needed. And obviously, it's very close to my heart as well with, who you're helping and the way that you're doing it and supporting people. So, just high five, kudos, like, all the things to you. As we get started into everything, please do us a favor then, Jillian, and let everybody know who you are and what it is that you do.
Yeah, I'm so excited. I am a mom first, of course, gotta throw that out there. But I am a entrepreneur, go-getter, never give up type of person, and an aggressive helper, as everyone likes to say. So I started a couple companies and to help women, and then that bloomed out of actually having a nonprofit to help women. So life has been awesome. The last couple of years have been so crazy, but amazing and a huge blessing for sure.
It's aggressive help. I love that. That's like,
The best way that I can explain it. So my grandmother called me that one day. She was like, "You were an aggressive helper." I was like, "Yay, that's me. Yep. Sounds good. I'm
that's
going to help you even if
fantastic.
sometimes you don't want it."
That is so fantastic. Like I immediately started thinking of like pushing people to do things and like you can do this and like
Yes, yes, I'm like, it's all right, you can do it, even though maybe you can't. We're gonna try. Yes, I'm that
I
person.
love it. That is fantastic. I think like everybody needs a friend that is like their aggressive helper, right? Like you
Yeah,
need the cheerleader and everything as well, but sometimes you need that person that's like, "No, we're gonna do
yeah,
this. You got this."
yep. Keep going. Yeah. Sometimes you need it.
I love that. Okay, so you have a couple of companies, plus you have this nonprofit, and I want to make sure that we dive into all of them. So take me back to the beginning of what kind of started the realm of the one company to this company to the nonprofit. Like, where did everything begin?
So everything began with cleaning and laundry. I started just cleaning short-term rentals and doing laundry for actually just to make some extra cash. And people started to call me. Word got around, and I needed help. So I actually hired some single mothers that asked to bring their children to work with them. And that's not a common thing. A lot of people don't do that. But I was like, well, I bring my kids because my daughter was very small. She was only a couple months old and I was breastfeeding and I was like, you can just come with me. We'll clean these houses. Um, but I was getting phone calls from these single mothers that couldn't afford childcare, had no support. And I was like, sure, let's do this and see what happens. But upon that, it just kept happening. These women were reaching out and asking if they could bring their children, and then I was being asked for any support or if I knew or had any connections in the community. And at this time, I was still new to our community in Murfreesboro, so I was new as well in learning. But it just kept happening, and I was like, okay, there's clearly a need, and there's something going on, and I need to look a little bit deeper. And so my company grew out of word of mouth. Sassie Scrubbers blew up, and I was able to provide a lot of jobs for a lot of single women, women coming out of really bad situations. I was like, bring your kids. Nobody can access the property. You're safe with your children. It's just you and your kids for the whole day. I was able to hire and provide like higher pay rates than most people, the way that I set up my business. And it was just constantly was getting more calls and more women needing help. And finally, I just sat down and was like, I think it's time to start something different because when we were researching for nonprofits and help, there were some. Um, but what I was finding personally was women that needed help on the other side of once they did get out and once they did receive that help, now what? Career wise, where am I going? What am I doing? Can I take my kids? And there wasn't really anything. So we started Moving Onward Moms, and it's been 3 years of chaos. So here we are, still battling it out. No. Um, And then, so we started Sassie Scrubbers, realized there was a need for women and single mothers to have jobs, higher pay rates, bring their kids to work with them if they needed. I just provide a very safe environment, a very flexible environment. Family is first. If you need to stop, go get your kids from school and come back, that's fine. Kids get sick, there's vacations, I get it. So it was really Sassy Scrubbers that started it all, and then hiring women and providing jobs and a space for women to be women, like to be moms and still pay the damn bills. Like, so it was just getting it done. And then from there, we started our nonprofit. And then that was reaching out to women that really did need a lot of financial support, somewhere to go. Where can I go? Where can I start? What can I do? And then we started that. And then last year, um, donations were low. There's a lot going on in the world. We all know it. The economy's not great. And I noticed that, people never stop asking for help. These women still need help. And we weren't getting the flow of donations that we needed. So we actually started Mystic Mug, which is a coffee company. And we started selling coffee, and all of the proceeds go to the mothers. So when the bills are paid from Mystic Mug, the rest of those proceeds go straight to the nonprofit. And it's independently owned. So it's not, we don't have like legal issues or anything. It's an LLC.
Mm.
So set it up to be as successful as possible. It's my company. I can do what I want with the money. Well, it goes into my nonprofit. It's like I got a list of mothers that need help. So and that's kind of where it all led. And now we're here today. So hanging on.
I I think it's so beautiful though that not only did you see that there was a need, but you took action to be able to create a space for that need, and I think about, back when I was a single mom with two kids and how difficult it was to find places that were willing to have that flexibility. At that time, I actually worked in the medical facility. So there isn't a lot of flexibility with that kind of stuff. So, and daycare is expensive, especially after, COVID and everything. It's like everything has just skyrocketed, doubled and tripled. And we're seeing that in the economy. And there are so many people and individuals that have a family to raise and are still trying to make it by. And what I found was really interesting too was, I started doing some digging in regards to women and just things that, and it's not that we're the only ones that go through it, but it tends to be a large majority because we are the household givers, we are the parent, we generally are the one that take custody of the children, and especially when there's bad situations like mine, for example, being in a domestic abusive situation, I was the sole custodian for my children. He had visitation, but that was it. So it falls on you to still pick up the pace and have to work and do all the other things that are combined that I just don't think a lot of people think about. And it's beautiful to know that you saw that not only because of your own, but because people kept reaching out and were able to create not only a space where they could make the money, but like you said, a space where you understand that family comes first. And I'm curious to know, because I think one of the first things that popped in my head was how many people are like, oh, great, single moms, they've got kids, they're probably taking off all the time. How has this worked in your business with the women that you have worked in creating this environment? Like, have you noticed a difference? Do you see that having the flexibility actually creates more reliability in your individuals that you're working with?
Yeah, I think it creates loyalty. It creates it creates such a strong structure, I think, in my business that a lot of the women that started with me are still with me today. And they're not going anywhere. Like we kind of create this community ourselves and support one another because sometimes you just kind of, you got to do that. My gals are great. They're loyal, they are responsible, they're very aware of how blessed they are of the situation, and they're on top of it. And I can rely on them for anything. So I think that structure, and because I know like society's kind of, which is crazy, we're still like this, but we are. But most like jobs in society, we're still like, oh, you can't bring your kids to work, and women still have this cliche, and I get it, but not in my world. Like women are, we are amazing. Like we are the top of the chain, okay? We breed, like we breed life, okay? So you don't get better than us, but and it's so crazy that we're still not there as a society, but in my world and in my business, I have just made sure that these women know you are the best. We are amazing. There is no there, so you can do this. And I think that creating that environment and constantly ensuring that and allowing that flexibility and the structure and the comfortability and the trust breeds nothing but respect and loyalty and more responsibility from my employees because they know how much I'm going to do for them and they will do it right back.
hmm I
Highly
so
recommend.
agree with you.
Highly recommend in most corporate businesses. Seriously, hire women, respect them, trust them, and they got this. Like, we got this. I don't know why it's not being done. It's not even a secret.
I think that some of it too is, like you said, we do have these like old societal norms that are there,
Yeah.
where like if you're going to be in the workforce and like that's where your head needs to be, right? And that's where your loyalty is and that's where your focus is. And we forget that there's like a whole nother back end of stuff that is
Yep.
important, way more important than your business. Like, yes, we need the job in order to provide for the family, and it really sucks when you have companies that still think to this day that their level of loyalty and respect should be over what it is that you brought into this world and what it is that you created, right? And I think that for a lot of us women as well, is like we've been taught to be shameful
Yeah.
for needing to take off, or I my child is sick. Like I don't know where that comes from. We won't get it, we won't get into
Neither.
that. But it is interesting because I was actually recently doing a panel discussion, and we were doing this whole bit on women and some of the opportunities that they have in other countries. And one of them, I believe it was Spain, if I'm not mistaken, and they had created a new law that went into effect where women who have menstrual issues have the ability to take off paid time every month. It was like up to 3 days. If they had like endometriosis and severe cramping and like all these things, and they recognize it. But what was interesting on those statistics was even though that they were given it, there was a huge percentage that never even used it.
Yeah. Yeah. That
Like,
doesn't even surprise me. I'm not
yeah,
surprised.
but it's
One, women are badasses, but we'll push through. But yes, that it honestly does not shock me, because I do think we still have this expectation where it's like we can't talk about that, and we still have to push through, and we still have to live through certain things. So
mhm.
I don't know. It's we've been talking about it for so long. I'm tired of talking about it. Like I'm just doing it now because I'm like we've all been talking about this for so long. It's been happening. Why are like I think we're getting there. There's definitely some improvements, and my company is one of them. We will continue, and I can only
Mhm.
hope and pray that my daughters take on my company and do the same exact thing. And then that's all you can do is just hope for change and create a ripple effect and go for it. But I'm honestly not shocked at all that they didn't take it. Not shocked.
Yeah, I think what was shocking to me is the fact that it's not even here in the United States and we still are seeing it, right? Like this is a
Yeah.
global thing
Yeah.
where women have been taught or brought up in a specific way, in a specific view of society. And yet, like you said, there's all these expectations and these things if we want to be able to be a part of the society. And instead of us creating the space and understanding, and like you said, creating this culture like you have, where there is a level of respect and understanding, because life is life and life will always be
Yeah.
life and
Yeah.
life's gonna keep life in.
Mhm.
Like,
No
um,
shock. Yep.
yeah, like, and I have seen that in companies that do hold some of that space versus the companies that are in my personal opinion this very old school mentality of how it's supposed to be done, how it's supposed to be delivered kind of a thing. And I do think that, especially with COVID as well, I think that that kind of opened up the eyes for a lot of people when we couldn't go into work and everybody started working remote. And what was interesting on those statistics was that the level of improvement for people that were working from home. You were seeing that, especially women, right, that had kids that needed to be there for them, were still able to do what they needed to do and be able to take care of their family. But I thought that was really interesting because I expected, right, that as soon as everybody went remote, we were going to see like this huge drop in participation and people being able to do their jobs. But instead, it went the opposite direction. And it's really interesting to see those that have continued to adopt it because they realize what it does, and then those that have just been like, oh, that's not how it's gonna. And I do understand, right? That there are certain situations, there are certain industries where you have to be in at work and you are needed to be front facing and stuff like that. I do understand that there are situations where you can't just take your kids to work. Like we're not saying that like just let your children run around. This should be great, but
It's not for everybody. Preferably, if I'm having surgery, I would prefer the doctor's kids not to be in the
right.
room. That's my
That
preference.
makes total
All right.
sense. Yep. Nope.
That's some
I agree with that.
serious stuff that requires some concentration. Totally understand that. Totally get that. We're on the same page there.
Like I
Don't
just
take this.
immediately thought of like a kid with a scalpel like right on
I
them.
was just running around.
That
Look
was
what I
immediately
can
where my brain went. I was like, oh no.
do.
Yes,
No.
so yes, certain things like that. No.
Yeah.
And I think that there's a way to create a culture of understanding and space and grace, especially for single parents,
Yeah.
right? Like there's so much um on us, and I'm going to say us because I was in that situation when it comes to meeting all expectations and right
Hmm.
and raising a family and kids getting sick and doctor's appointments and dentist and school functions and like just all of the things that are piled on that people that are blessed to have maybe a beautiful family dynamic do not have to deal with that because you've got someone that you can lean on. And I think that we're seeing so many times over and over where that's not always the case, right? Especially with women that are coming out of domestic violence situations, sexual assault, needing to leave their homes and stuff. That is a huge portion of homelessness as well, because you have to start from somewhere. And daycare is not the first thing that you can start with if you can't get the job to be able to afford it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely happening, still going to happen. I can only hope that it gets better. But we Sassy Scrubbers, Mystic Mug, we really try and just just to create a positive environment, a positive work environment. And I mean, I have women and men that work for me that aren't single as well, but we're still so family oriented. And I have a wonderful husband, but family is important. Like, you got to pay the bills. I understand, but there's still some flexibility there. There is still flexibility to be able to allow a work environment to find a happy medium. And every business is different, and you've got to work to find it, but it's there,
Hmm.
and we've found it. I mean, it works for us. So we have no issues. We're very flexible. I understand if the kids have something. We understand there's holidays. Make sure everybody can spend holidays together. And if there's anybody that's sick or if there's an emergency, it's just having a little bit more compassion, I think, and just being understanding and having a little more compassion for your fellow human being. It goes a long way, that's for sure.
Absolutely. I love how you put that, for your fellow human being. Absolutely. Now, I want to talk a little bit about this nonprofit because I think this is phenomenal as well. And I know you and I talked a little bit about this
Yeah.
prior to, because like you said, there are some organizations out there that can help in times of need, right? Whether that's, I'm not getting paid for 2 weeks, I need to pay the electric bill, or I need the gas in my car to get to work because I'm trying to get above above the water. But like you and I talked about as well, a lot of it tends to be religious organizations. No
Mhm.
offense to absolutely anyone that is religious at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
And I love the approach that you guys took with your nonprofit. So I'd love for you to kind of talk about this a little bit, because, like we talked about, not everyone is comfortable walking into a church to
Mhm.
ask for something, especially if you're not a part of that community. It can
Yeah.
feel very weird. It can feel a lot of fear. There's a lot of shame. There's a lot of guilt. Being able to even ask for help to begin with is a feat in itself, because you're admitting that you can't be the sole provider. And that's really hard to do, whether you're a man or a woman, right? To be able to say, look, I'm struggling and this is what I need. And unfortunately, there's a monetary piece involved in it.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, when we started doing research to try to find help for these women coming in, a lot of it was restricted by religion. You had to be a part of the congregation, you had to join the congregation. There were other nonprofits that you had to bring in certain types of paperwork, and that's fine. It's fine. Everybody has to run their business and their nonprofits, and they have to do it the way they need to. But it seemed that the women that were coming to me were not in any of those brackets. They were not qualifying for any of it. And I was like, well, can we just maybe not? Can we just maybe not have brackets and just be like, okay, let's sit down and have, oh, I understand you need help. Let's sit down and have a real conversation. If you will sit
Hmm.
down and have a real conversation with me about what is going on, I'm probably going to help you. I just need some honesty. Tell me what's going on. And we kind of approached it like, let's get to the root of it. We're not trying to just help you on, yes, we can help you pay your bills. Yes, we could probably help you find a car. Yeah, we're going to give you a job. But let's see how you got there. Let's sit down and actually talk about the root of the issue, because we would like to start there to see if
Mm.
there's, let's look at these steps. And because we all understand, we've all been through trauma and been there and done that. But and then that's where we kind of started and was like, okay, well, there's certain things we can help with, but we also have other people that can help you with these things as well. So then it's almost a package deal where you really try to get to the root of the problem, but there's no restrictions. I mean, I've had women call and say they need shampoo or pizza for the night or their phone bill or they need some tires. Like, we got you covered. We probably got you covered. But I would like to know why. That was our only thing was like sit down and have a conversation about why you need that and why you're not able to cover that. Because it helps us to try to help you build wealth because that's really what we're about is like building your wealth. And when I say wealth, I'm not talking about just money. I'm talking about mentally, emotionally, physically, complete structure, start over. Like, let's start there. So I think that's what made us a little bit different or makes us different is I'm just that type. I'm an aggressive helper. Like, I'm going to buy your tires for you, but I'm going to rearrange your entire life while I do it. Like, give me 15 minutes.
That's
So
where that label
that's
came
where
from.
it comes in. But I think for us, we just, and when I say us for the nonprofit, I have women that work for me that help me with the nonprofit. So these are women that have lived this, are living this, still going through all of this. So then we sit down and say, okay, like how can we help you on so many different levels when you do go to other nonprofits, religious based or not, a lot of them will just pay your electric bill and then send you back out. I don't want to do that if I don't have to. I'd rather help you. I'd rather give an opportunity to someone if they will take it. Like, I
Hmm.
can't make people do that, but let's sit down and let's talk about it. Let me see if we can turn this, and then you'll never have to worry about your electric bill again. You can handle it because you're a woman and you're a badass and you can do it. Just need a little bit of help. You need some guidance from
Absolutely.
the aggressive helper. That's it.
I'm gonna label you that in my phone, Jillian. That's gonna be your nickname now. Just
I'll have to
need you
get
to
it
know
like a
that.
tag
There you
embroidered.
go. That's what you need. You need a little name tag. But no, I am in love with this like so wholeheartedly. First off, thank you for defining wealth first and foremost, right?
Yeah,
Because I think that
yeah,
so many times it is tied to just money. And you can be wealthy in your life and not be rich financially, right? I
yeah,
think that we live in a world where, thanks to social media,
yeah,
everything is blown out of proportion and we feel like we need to reach these levels and I need to make this amount of money so that I can be happy. Yet you see so many people that are successful in that arena that are not happy. I mean, look at celebrities and different people like that commit suicide and think like money is not what creates that happiness, but being able to create that joy and the wealth that you feel in your life, which I do believe has different components to it, is what you need. And I love that you are willing to sit down and ask the question why as well, because that was my first thought is like, yes, I love that there are organizations that are willing to help if you need it that one time. And like you're saying, there is a really high percent chance that if you are asking for this now, there has probably been a chance before, or there's going to be a chance later. And it's
yeah,
not that it's your fault. It's not that you're a bad person. You can't manage your money. But like you said, it could be because of things that you've been through, or maybe you were never taught how to handle money, right? Or things have hit you out of nowhere that you didn't even know could. Like you only know what you know, right?
yeah,
And I love this idea of getting to the root of the issue because not only are you providing a service and helping someone in need, you're actually giving them the opportunity to do something different in their life, which is going to move them forward. And I feel like that's where we should be getting in society is, hey, don't let me just solve the problem for you, but let's sit down and have the conversation and let's create something different so that you can grow from it. I don't need you to be dependent on me. I want you to have
yeah,
the opportunity to be the best whole version of you as an individual. So I am like in love with this. Like I love you so
yeah.
much more, Jillian, because of this. Because it's so easy to be like, hey, we just want to help. And again, not saying that that's not a good thing. I absolutely adore
Yeah.
every organization that is willing to give back. And there are patterns, there are cycles. I was a part of that. When I got into my situation, there was a lot of financial abuse. There was a lot of bills and things that were racked up in my name that I didn't understand what it meant with those credit cards. I didn't understand the fees. I didn't read the fine print. I was 20 years old. And I did have to file for bankruptcy, right? Just to start myself over. But I didn't understand any of that, right? And so being able to start at the root cause and get the understanding, you are giving someone a lifetime of possibility versus a quick fix.
Yeah. Yeah. That, I mean, that's kind of the goal because I've been there and I was there for a very long time. I was in a constant, and I wish there would have been someone to be like, hey, you know what? Instead of me helping you today with this one thing, let's sit down and talk about where this even came from. And it took me years. I mean, I was really young, went through a really bad marriage. It was terrible. It took me years to figure it out. And then when I got to this place where I realized how much I could help, and then I had all these women that also wanted to help and needed help, I was like, oh, we're doing this, but we're not going to do it in this short term way. Let's change your whole damn life. I'm going to show you how to do it because this is how I did it. And everybody's different. But at the very least, I can give you a map and
Hmm.
you can go anywhere you want. But I can be like, this was my experience. This is the things that I did and how I changed it. I've got three other girls here that did very similar, but we're all different. So it still looks different. You can take this with you if you want and maybe start following this. So then next month, you don't have to worry about, are you going to be able to put food on the table, a roof over your head? You know you're going to be able to because you've changed these behaviors and you're working towards a whole different life of wealth.
Hmm.
So I think that's just what makes us a little different is we try, you know,
Yeah.
we will help you in any way. You can ask us for anything, and if we can get it done, we will get it done. It's hard for us to say no, that's for sure. um, Probably should work on that a little bit, but that's my goal this year is to work on saying no to certain things. But our ultimate goal is to really help women build wealth and really teach them how to do what do you want to do? Let's sit down and talk about, let's find you. And then once we find you and you find yourself, now what do you want to do? What careers do you want to go to school? Do you want to build something? You want to like weld? What do you want to do? Let's do it. So then we get excited and we're like, let's do this. And then we kind of set the path for that too, because that's really what Moving Onward Moms is about is moms that have come and it's like, okay, we've done the work, we've done this counseling, we've done all of these things. Now I found myself. Now I'm ready for my career. Now I'm ready
Mm.
for me. I want to do what I've always wanted to do. And then we create that space so they can do that and the opportunity to do that with their kids right next to them. Because I also think that we are still in this situation where women can't do or can't have the careers that they want because they have kids. And it's like, I just don't feel that way. I
Hmm.
have okay. I got two businesses and a nonprofit. Fight me on it. Like we rolling over here. Now, it's not easy. It is not easy, but I did it. I'm
Hmm.
doing it and I'm going to continue to do it. So can another mom. So can another mom. So that's, so it's a long road, that's for sure. But really just trying to provide something different than what the norm was when we were finding all of these nonprofits, really just trying to set something up where women were going to find their wealth, find themselves, not have to rely on the state anymore, not have to rely on whether child support's coming or not. Doesn't matter, honey. You can pay your own bills. We don't need to worry
Hmm.
about that. Your kids are taken care of. We got you. We're gonna do this together. So definitely different. At least we tried to be, but we're getting there. We're getting there. It's not easy, but we're getting there.
It's beautiful though. And what I love about this so much is you are giving individuals a choice. You can put it in front of them. You can say, this is what we think. This is what's worked for other people. This is what we're seeing. maybe you should give this a shot. But you're giving them the choice to be able to decide to do different. And for a lot of people that have suffered traumatic events, are getting out of things, are starting over, the biggest thing is they feel like a failure. They feel completely fear-based on everything.
Yeah.
And people making decisions for them or saying, hey, look, we can do this real quick and this will help. It's great and it's that quick fix, right? But we're not building that person up. By you sitting down and having the conversation, you're requiring them to be honest with themselves and honest with another person. You're requiring them to sit down and have the conversation if they choose to, which can
Yeah.
change the trajectory of their life, right? Because that's the first step is ownership and saying, "Hey, I need help." And this is what I want to be able to do. And then you're giving them the choice to be able to say, okay, this is the way I've been doing it. This looks like it could be different. Now I get to choose, do I want to up level or do I want to continue in the same cycle? So every single time it sounds to me like you are giving people the freedom to make their own choice. And when people have the freedom to make a choice to do different and they get to see how it improved their lives, that is such a confidence booster in
Yeah.
them wanting to take more correct steps, right? Because they're like, oh my gosh, but I did this and it wasn't as bad as I thought it was. And this is what it got me to. What would happen if maybe I did this, right? So it's like you're creating this beautiful chain of positivity for them to decide to do something different while giving them their autonomy to decide to be able to do it. And I talk about this a lot on my podcast when I talk about like domestic violence. Anyone that's coming from those situations had to make the choice to leave. And the more that I got to make the choices after that, the more it helped build up my confidence, which had been beat 6 feet into the ground, you know? And so it's having the opportunity to rebuild yourself and know that somebody is like, I got you, I can help you, and you're going to do this for you versus we'll just take care of it and we'll figure it out and you should be fine. You're creating new patterns and new habits and the ability for people to see things in a totally different light, which to me is like beyond words. Like it's phenomenal
Yeah.
to know that you guys are thinking this way.
Yeah. That's what we're trying. We're trying. And I mean, I can be the first to say that I'm very stubborn and knowing and everything that I went through, if someone would have just come up and be like, oh, you have to do this, this, and this to get your life straight, I'd have been like, who are you talking to like that? Like, I immediately would be like, and
Yep.
plus you're in defense mode anyway because you've just come out of that terrible situation and you've got
Yep.
and you're just in defense. You just think everyone is out to get you. You can't help it. You cannot help it. But so I was like, what if we just are honest and I can't make anybody do anything, but I can at least sit across from you and be like, here are your options. Pick one.
Mm-hmm.
It's here. And you don't even have to pick today. You don't want to do it today. Come back tomorrow. Come back 3 months from now. It's still here. Here's the possibility. I can't make anybody do anything. And I wouldn't even really try. I might push them a little bit. Might push them a little bit. But ultimately, it's their decision. We respect that decision. But I think it was just really trying to root change in women and just give them
Mm-hmm.
something a little bit different, really based off of the things that we felt like we needed when we were going through the exact same situation.
Yeah. Oh, oh, I love it so much, Jillian. Okay, so I want to talk about really quick then about the Mystic Mug because I think this is wonderful. I love that you guys have created this. I love that the profit is going back into your nonprofit, as you said, and as everyone knows grants and government and all the things are always unstable, right? It just is
Yeah.
what it is. So I love that you kind of took this into your own hands and decided to be able to give, you know, some form of stability. Obviously, help is always asked and wanted. And I love that you guys have taken this. So, what exactly is Mystic Mug? I know it's coffee, but explain more.
Yeah, so Mystic Mug is coffee, man. Listen, moms love coffee and we need it. All right. No, it was really just sitting down and going through and trying to think about how do we fix this? How do we create something like constant flow of donations and money into this where we don't know, like once again, here's the independent coming out where I'm, preaching to these women, you don't need anybody. Find your own way. And then I was like, what am I doing? I'm a big hypocrite. Like it was really just sitting down and being like, I don't want to have to rely. I don't want to have to go month to month and count every single dollar and be like, oh, I hope our sponsor comes through this time or this grant might come through. I don't want to do that.
Hmm.
I don't want to do it. If it comes through, that's great. What a blessing. We appreciate it. But you know what? We got this. And I think it was just really sitting down and me looking at it and going, what can we do to make sure we don't have to do that every single time? And be nervous because we still have moms coming in that can't pay their bills and want to go to college and there's a lot of stuff going on. And it's like, all right, let's change it. So it was really just sitting down and being like, hey, well, everyone loves coffee. We obsess over coffee. And I was like, everyone loves it. Let's do it. And it was born. And we have, I mean, we do a lot of different things on the site. You know, we have a website and um it talks the website describes, you know, like everything behind it. We've got single moms that run a lot of it, and we have fun things coming up this year where I'm going to have a lot of our featured single moms come in and pick their own blends and do their own packaging, and everything goes to them. You know,
I
it's
love it.
it is also kind of just a fun little creative thing for me too that feeds my soul, but at the same time, like I don't necessarily like need the income. So I was like, we're straight. This is all going straight into my nonprofit. Like it was
Hmm.
just the perfect way to do it. And everything just came together like flawlessly. So, but on the website, we love our coffees and we blend those flavors ourselves. We get to pick those, which is really cool.
Oh, awesome.
We get to pick all of the packaging, which is a lot of fun for us. And then we also I have artisans on there that we try to stay USA. We try to stay small business. So if there are things like cups and tumblers and any type of apparel, usually 9 times out of 10, that is going to be a small business that is based in the United States. Because when I was searching through, I was like, I have to stay true to my integrity because karma is a real thing. And I just wanted to make sure that we were still being true to that. So even if we bring somebody else on and there's, you know, we have a featured shirt for the holidays or something, more than likely that's probably a small family that is probably doing that out of their garage, like 2 states over. So it's all small business based, it's all very local. And that's just kind of what it is. And it supports our moms in a way where we just don't have to worry about anybody else. We're making our own cash over here. So, because the
And
help
making
never stops.
coffee.
Like, yeah. And we all love coffee around here. It's like ridiculous, but it's also great because you have access to it all the time. We're like, oh, what
That's
flavor do
true.
we want today during our meeting?
That's true.
It's like everybody picks one. Um, but that's really what it is. I mean, it's very just straightforward. We did it to make sure we could be financially stable enough to help as many moms as we possibly can. And that's exactly what it is. So every dollar, except, I mean, we have we also kept it very small where we didn't have a lot of overhead either, because we wanted
Mm.
to keep it that way, where we could use all of that profit.
Mm.
So, you know, once those tiny bills are paid and all that's covered, that profit goes straight into a mom that's called me for something. So it's helpful, but that's it. I mean, Mystic Mug is awesome. We're hoping to have a location though. Fingers crossed.
Uh-oh.
It will all work out. It's up in the air, but we're putting the feelers out. And I think that'll be a lot of fun too, especially in the Murfreesboro area for us, that I
Hmm.
think people are going to love the idea of being able to come in and meet a lot of the mothers that they are supporting and like see them working and see them be a part of the company and see them build this. And I think that community wise, it's going to be a lot of fun once we do that. But right now we're online and we're just chilling and it's a lot of fun and it's delicious. Our coffee is awesome.
Like now I have to try it, Jillian.
It
'Cause-
really is. I'm serious. So there's a lot of things behind it too, but so I'm very like healthy wise, that's part of your wealth is like being very conscious of what you're putting in your body. And I love coffee. And I really tried to cut out sugars and creamers and all of this. And our coffee is so good, you don't even need it. It's very low acid, it's just really smooth. And we get compliments all the time about how you can just drink it black because it's so smooth. And I was like, that's
Nice.
exactly what I want you to say. Because we all love coffee. It's hard to cut it out when you're being, conscious of your
I
body.
know.
It's
I
like everybody's
know.
favorite thing. But it's you feel less guilty when you're not putting sugar and creamer in it. So
Absolutely.
maybe I'm trying to convince myself. I don't know, but,
It's
but
totally fine.
it's
It's
really
totally
good.
fine, Julie.
Yeah, that might just be me. I don't
Oh
know.
my goodness.
But yeah, I mean,
Well, thank you so much for sharing like all the things, all of the amazingness, all the goodness that you
yeah,
guys are doing. I- it just blows me away when I get to meet someone that saw something and just like took the initiative, right? The end. We're not waiting for someone else. We're not hoping one day it's going to be there. We wanted to be a part of the change. And I think that
yeah,
I appreciate that so much about you and, all these other individuals that I met that are doing that. Because again, if we want change to come, we've got to be a part of it. And if we're not showing it and leading the way, who is going to do it, right?
yeah, yeah. You got to start. If you want change, you have to start it. Somebody's got to start it. So you can't just like hope. I mean, I guess you can. I don't know, but I just there was just too much of a need. There was too much of a need, and it kept falling in my lap and falling in my lap, and I was like, there. I clearly somebody's telling me to do something. So
hmm
here we are, and we're just going to continue. I'm just
I
going to
love
keep
it.
going.
Yay. All right. So, any last words or anything you'd like to leave the audience with?
Um, I don't think so. Well, I don't know. My coffee's great. You should definitely buy it. No, it is for real. And if it's not, I promise I'll give you your money back. No. Um, I don't know. Pretty much just what I said is like if you're wanting change, just do it. Just do it. Just get up and
hmm
do it. And even just making even one small decision could make a huge difference for somebody that could create a ripple effect. And I
hmm
think that we as humans need to realize that a little bit more is how much one of our decisions creates an entire ripple effect. And let's just try to make it a positive one instead of a negative one. So I think
Absolutely.
that's it. Be kind, compassionate,
Yeah.
goes a long way. It goes a long way for
Yeah.
sure.
It really does. So, where can everybody find you? Coffee
But
shop, moving forward, like where can they
yeah.
connect with you?
So we are on social media. We do have Facebooks and TikToks. Mysticmug.shop is our website for the amazing coffee that you're totally gonna buy. Um, but as far as like moving onward moms, we have a Facebook there and we have some updates and we're getting a lot more into sharing other local nonprofits and just different places to get information that's needed. Um, and then I think that's it. Yeah, Sassie Scrubbers, we do Facebook, social media. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yay. And of course, we'll make sure we have all that information in the show notes, especially so that you can go and buy her coffee right now and get it today. Jillian, thank you so much for being a part of the podcast today.
Yes, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. I hope that, everyone listening is realizes that, we're not saying you have to go and start your own company, but be a part of the
Yeah.
change, be kind to your fellow human. If you see that there is a need, see how it is that you have the ability to give back, whether that's being a part of amazing places like what Jillian has, or I don't know, maybe starting and branching out on your own. But at any rate, buy some coffee to give back to your nonprofits. And don't forget, do one thing something positive for someone each and every day and see the difference that it makes in your life. Catch you later. Thank you so much for tuning in to Real Chat with Kat today, where real stories meet real solutions. If you loved today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave us a review on Apple, and share this with someone who may also need to hear this as well. Let's also keep the conversation going. Follow me on socials at The Lotus Effect, connect with our incredible guests, and remember, you are never alone. Your story matters, and you have the ability and the power to rewrite it. You always have a choice. Until next time, stay strong, stay inspired, and keep showing up as the incredible, unstoppable